So Grant, we have a lot of tonguing in our 2014 production this year, and that was the original premise of me calling you, and how to approach all this different tonguing. We've talked a little briefly, and you have some different thoughts and things, and some are multiple tonguing, some are not, kind of thing. So I want you kind of like to play some of the sections and go, hey, this is the pitfalls, this is what I would do, this is what you're looking for in the music, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the Fellini 8.5, and I'm looking at letter B,
Okay.
and and I listen to the MP3. So to tell you the truth, at the tempo that it's at, and like we discussed, I probably wouldn't bother multiple tonguing
Right.
this. I wouldn't need to, for speed anyway. The only reason that I might multiple tongue that is if it's easier for me, that will save me endurance. If I could be more efficient through a big show like this, that would definitely pay dividends. So I would consider multiple tonguing it for that reason, not for the speed. But as I look at this line, I mean, we've got this repeated figure, but you know, we've got that interval of a fourth at letter B over and over and over and over. And whenever we have a leap down like that, in particular a leap down, I'd be very leery of putting a ka on the second note. So if I was going to multiple tongue this, and not that I can't go taka ta taka ta taka ta taka ta taka ta, I could, but I'd rather plant that bottom note with the tongue. Ta ta ka 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 ta. And also what that does is gives me a ta ka ta ta ka ta ta ka ta ta ka ta, which leads me to an accent on the beat, which is important in this. And it also gives me kind of the structure within the structure, because the obvious structure is da 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 da. But the structure within the structure is da 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 da, with a crescendo or energy going towards the downbeat, not just on the downbeat. And especially when you look through at the last into the figure at bar 17, where it goes up chromatically, as we were talking about earlier, I would want to think about those three notes or two notes that lead to the changing note, the top note, to lead me there. So da da dee da 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 dee da da da. That helps underscore the crescendo. So instead of just thinking the beat, I would think of the energy leading to the beat. And you know, again, it's really a player's choice how he wants to articulate this. Triple tonguing, double tonguing, flutter tonguing for that matter, it's all it can all be an effect. And we have to decide what best serves the music. This is a percussive line. Listening to it in its setting with the drums and all, it's percussive. So that also would lead me maybe even think, if I had the endurance and it wasn't a factor, to single tongue it, just because I could make it really strong that way. But if you're going to multiple tongue it, then for me personally, I'd probably well, you have to multiple tongue the 16th notes. There's just no other way to do that. Well, like I showed you earlier, there is a way to do it. Single tongue. There's no difference, I hope, when you hear that. But then after that, I would probably go ta-ka-ta, 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 and double tongue on the last two notes of each triplet.
Got it.
Like so. And that just makes most sense to me. Well, something like that. Right. It helps me think of the musical line. Again, we're slaves to the music, right? The music's not slave to some trumpet player's weaknesses. We have to figure out how to best communicate what the composer wants to communicate. So that's how I would approach that. Now, the other thing that we talked about is there's really kind of two ideas here. You've got the G, 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 G on the downbeat, and you've got the accompaniment of the D, E, D, E, D, E, D, E, D, E. And then it goes up that line from the G, A flat, A, B flat, C. So that line is really the melodic line. The other notes under that just kind of support it, right? So I want to bring that forward. So I'm going to make sure that those notes, that the other notes lead to those notes. Now, how much practice time do you have? How much lead time do you have? How to approach the time frame? I think that's an important thing because we tend to want to get something right away, and in doing so, maybe we ingrain bad habits. If you've got a long period of time to learn something, you want to get on it right away. You don't want to procrastinate. So don't. I'm not going to lead you to procrastination, but you have to prioritize how you're going to learn it. And for each player, we have our own challenges. And so, for me, that chromatic line drew my attention right away. What I would do is I would take that, obviously nice and slow, and I would slur it to make sure that my lips are really, and my air are really moving in conjunction through the line. So again, like I referred to earlier, we're not relying on the tongue for note placement. That we are hearing it, maybe take it down an octave so I can really hear how the notes relate to each other, and then take it up an octave, slurred, slowly, getting the crescendo, thinking about the flow, making sure I'm connecting the notes with the air, not relying on the tongue to give me the air for the note. And then I would apply the tonguing. And if I knew this was really fast and I was going to have to triple or double tongue it, I would start triple or double tonguing it at a very slow speed. As Timothy Dockschitzer says in his memoirs, if you don't know who he is, look him up. He says, technique mastered is technique mastered at all tempos. And I apply that to tonguing. So when guys say, oh, it's too slow for me to double tongue, well, then you need to work on your double tonguing. If it's too slow for you to triple tongue, you need to work on that. If it's too fast for you to single tongue, you need to work on your single tonguing. Those techniques should overlap. There shouldn't be a break between I can single tongue to here and then I have to multiple tongue within a reasonable tempo. I mean, yeah, we want to get that as far to the right on the metronome as we can. We want to be able to single tongue very fast. And so if I wanted to double tongue or triple tongue, I could triple tongue way back here. I wouldn't have to wait till it's just absolutely no possibility of another option. So I would practice it slowly, double or triple tongued, and in that process determine what works best for me.
Now you when you saw all the music, you actually said that for you it'd be more efficient to actually single tongue everything kind of thing.
Yeah, there's really no reason for me not to, except for the 16th notes.
Right.
And when we get into those little fanfare figures, they just cry out for that. They're easier that way. And also, when you double tongue, you can, like if I'm just looking at the very end of this piece after letter F, you've got an eighth, 2/16, and then a dotted half note with an accent. By double tonguing the 16th notes, I can better lead to the accent. Right? Just naturally happens.
Now you said, one of the things you said earlier was using the skill set to bring out the music, which is the most important thing. The music is the most important thing. So using your skill set effectively, you said the more you have, the more you can go ahead and use to bring out the music kind of thing. So if you can single, double, triple, flutter, whatever, then you have a multitude of options to make things successful.
Right, and that's an important thing, James, to think about, and I tell all my students this, is when we come onto a job or rehearsal with whatever band, we bring our bag of tools. Those tools have to be oiled, sharpened, and ready to go. If they're rusty and dull, then they're useless to us. So it's a daily practice thing. In fact, every single day I double and triple tongue. Every single day. Before you came over today, even though my chops are beat up from teaching and playing all kinds of music yesterday all day long, I warmed up and I did my double and triple tonguing exercises that I do every single day. All those there's things that trumpet players have to be able to do. And you just have to figure out what they are. Well, multiple tonguing, as we're finding out, is one of them, right? So that skill set can't just be neglected. You can't say, oh, I did it once in a piece, in a solo in the back of Armin's. It's got to be something that we take out and we oil it and sharpen it. So when we get on the chair to do something, it's an option. Well, I'll just do this. Not something now. It's a new challenge that I added to myself.
Right. Awesome. Well, Grant, thank you for taking the time, man. These kids are going to appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Best of luck to everybody.
See you soon.